Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and today we're continuing the Fourth Kingdom of Yan Let's Talk Lore series with episode 5 titled Two-Faced. Now, in our last episode, we ended as Sun Quan sent a 10,000 troop envoy north to Liaodong, hoping to award the title of Duke of Yan to Gongsun Yuan, as Sun Quan believed he had earned himself a new vassal and ally against the Kingdom of Wei. But once Zhang Mi's envoy arrived in Liaodong, everything was off, as Gongsun Yuan showed no eagerness to receive his duke title, and instead used a variety of excuses to divide up the envoy's troops, as the main officials and generals and just 400 guards were now stuck in Gongsun Yuan's ancestral hometown of Xiangping. Realizing the danger they were in, Zhang Mi tried to act. But before he could do anything, Gongsun Yuan showed his true colors as his troops would attack the now divided and unsuspecting Wu forces. Minister Herald Zhang Mi, Minister of Guard Xu Yan, Generals He Da and Yu Zi, Lieutenants Wan Tai and Pei Qian were all captured and then executed, as their heads would be sent to Wei's Emperor Cao Rui, while all the remaining Wu troops either fought to the death or surrendered, as Sun Quan's second expedition would end even worse than the first, as Gongsun Yuan ultimately decided that he would rather remain a vassal to Wei than to become one of Wu, given his proximity to Wei. And this belief was also reinforced by reports from his own envoy that had visited Wu alongside Sun Quan's first naval expedition, that the Wu armies were not as strong as they had first imagined. But at the same time, after exchanging letters with Sun Quan, Gongsun Yuan's greed took over, as he now coveted the treasures promised by Sun Quan for his vassalage. So he decided to lie and deceive Sun Quan, who foolishly sent 10,000 troops, 2 of his 9 ministers, 2 generals, and countless treasure on an expensive naval expedition all the way across China, only for Gongsun Yuan to use this as a chip to further elevate his status within the Wei court. And when Cao Rui received this unexpected gift from Gongsun Yuan, who claimed that he received and resisted an unsolicited offer from Sun Quan, Gongsun Yuan would be handsomely rewarded by the Wei court, as he would be named the Duke of Lelang and given the court position of Da Sima, which ranked even higher than the 3 Grand Excellency positions within the Wei court, all while still being allowed to remain in Liaodong to enjoy his semi-autonomous reign of the northeast. Conversely, Sun Quan was so enraged when he finally received words of what had happened to his envoy that he seriously considered personally leading a naval campaign to invade Liaodong. But of course, this was an irrational and terrible idea, and one that the Wu court would never allow their emperor to partake, as nothing really could be done with Gongsun Yuan, since he's so far away and now back in the good graces of the Kingdom of Wei. Now at this point, you might think Gongsun Yuan would happily live out his day as the Duke of Lelang and enjoy his autonomy in the north. But 2 things stood in his way. First was his paranoid nature, that constantly suspected the Wei court would renege their arrangement and displace him in the north. Second was his greed, that now wanted even more, as he felt that if the fool Sun Quan can make his own kingdom in the south, then why can't he, who has clearly outsmarted Sun Quan, make his own kingdom in the north? Now we'll see both of these natures at play almost immediately, as when Emperor Cao Rui sent the imperial envoy to Liaodong to award Gongsun Yuan the duke title, Gongsun Yuan's agents in the capital of Luoyang would inform him that amongst the envoy is a man named Zuo Junbo, who was known to have absurd inhuman strength. And Gongsun Yuan took this to mean that Zuo Junbo was potentially an assassin sent by the Wei court to eliminate him during the ceremony. So instead of properly welcoming the imperial envoy once they had arrived in Liaodong, Gongsun Yuan first had his cavalry surround the inn where the envoy was staying, before armored troops were sent inside to control every corner. and only then did Gongsun Yuan make his appearance to receive the titles from the envoy whom he spoke to rudely as he felt they were out to get him. Now all of this would eventually be reported back to Emperor Cao Rui, but with the 5th Northern Expedition about to start out west, little attention and energy will be spent on the unruly and unthreatening Gongsun Yuan in the north. But things would change in 235, when the Shuhan threat would ease with Zhuge Liang's passing during the 5th Northern Expedition. Now with the energy to deal with Gongsun Yuan, Emperor Cao Rui would turn to one of his tutors in Guanqiujian to formulate a plan to eliminate the Gongsun clan's control of Liaodong once and for all. But before we get to that, we must first properly introduce Guanqiujian, whose father, Guanqiuxing, was the imperial architect for Cao Pi after serving years as the administrator of the Wu Wei commandery out west. Then for his services as the imperial architect, Guanqiuxing was awarded a second marquise title, which would eventually be passed on to his son, Guanqiujian, after his death, as his eldest son had died young. So Guanqiujian grew up wealthy and received an excellent education that would eventually earn him the right to be named as one of the 3 grand tutors for Prince Cao Rui by Cao Pi in the year 222. So naturally, when Cao Rui ascended to the throne, Guanqiujian, who had been his teachers for the past 6 years, skyrocketed up the Wei court as he was promoted year after year. Now Guanqiujian deserved these promotions as he was quite a serious and respected scholar, on par with even the famed Cao Zhi, as he and Cao Zhi would end up collaborating on an ode to a Han bronze statue that Cao Rui coveted for his palace in Luoyang. Now the story behind this bronze statue is actually quite mythical, so in the future, hopefully we'll have a Guanqiujian lore series when we can talk about the founding of the Jin dynasty, where we can cover this story in more detail. As for now, we just need to know that Guanqiujian was a serious scholar and a trusted teacher to Cao Rui, which is why in 235, when he suggested to Emperor Cao Rui that with the kingdom of Shu and Wu difficult to conquer given their natural barriers, perhaps they should start with something small, like the Liaodong region and the Gongsun clan, and make that the first step towards building a legacy for the young emperor so that he can one day match the legacy left behind by his grandfather Cao Cao. Excited by his teacher's plan, Cao Rui would immediately name Guanqiujian as the prefect of the You province, which the Liaodong commandery falls under. Additionally, Guanqiujian was given the general title Du Liao Jiangjun, which means the general who rules over the Liao, and the lieutenant of Wuhuan, which give him the right to negotiate with the local Wuhuan tribes, as Guanqiujian's plan also involved turning the local nomadic tribes against Gongsun Yuan. So in 236, Guanqiujian would leave Luoyang with a sizable army, as the first campaign against Liaodong and Gongsun Yuan was set to begin. But with that, our episode here will also be coming to an end, as we'll return next time to conclude this lore series with the first and second Liaodong campaigns, as well as Gongsun Yuan's ambitious self-declaration as emperor when he created the 4th kingdom of Yan. So hopefully y'all have enjoyed this episode enough to hit that like button to help support the channel, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!